What's up, guys? So I had a a little interesting conversation with another YouTuber whose vlog is called Goldenbell Training. Uh, Apparently, he's a black guy living in Thailand who does Chinese internal martial arts, and he does some interesting videos. But we had a disagreement. However, support his channel. He puts out a lot of interesting content about martial arts. He talks about Bruce Lee, which I don't know. I don't believe, I don't really accept everything he puts out there because he has no affiliation with the JKD community, the Jit Kundo community. Um, and some of the stuff he peddles in is hearsay. But like I said, the content is interesting, so I do watch it from time to time. I like his videos or whatever, but again, I don't agree with a lot of his stuff. And this time, I had left a comment stating such. So one of the interesting things that he talks about sometimes is Aikido and Steven Seagal. And by now, most people know that Steven Seagal is a problematic person. Okay, I'm not going to defend Steven Seagal. However, a lot of the stuff he put in this two-part expose of Steven Seagal, or as he calls him, Steven Seagal, because he said that's really the way the name is pronounced, but he started calling himself Seagal because it sounded better after he saw some artwork by someone named Chagall. But I don't know whether that's true or not. Again, that goes to the hearsay that he puts on his channel in his content. It's entertaining, but I don't know whether it's real. And then when people have left comments challenging him, he says, "Why do you care if it's real, if it's true or not?" He said, "This is just stuff that I've uncovered, and it's my opinions on it." But you can't have it both ways, bro. You can't you can't be claiming this stuff is true on one hand, and then when challenged on the other, say, "Well, these are just my opinions. Why are you getting worked up about whether it's factual or not?" Because you can't claim something that's factual and then when challenged about it, weasel out that way. It's That's fallacious. Um, but in any case, uh, he did this expose about Seagal. He does the same thing with Seagal when he's challenged about Bruce Lee about the veracity of his claims, which is to say, "Why you get so worked up about it?" Blah 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 blah. And so recently he's done one about so-called Commander Dale Brown of D.U.S.T, the Detroit Urban Survival Training. Uh, Basically the so-called self-defense guru who's made a living trolling people with these videos that he makes. He's obviously incompetent in martial arts. Everyone's spoken about it, from McDojo Life to Icy Mike at Hard to Hurt. Um, However, Icy Mike said, "Why should you even care? We know he's incompetent." So for some reason, Golden Bell Training has come to his defense, saying this guy really knows what he's doing, and the stuff that he puts in his videos isn't the actual training that he does. So you want to put out bullshit on video instead of putting out real stuff that you showing your competence. That makes a lot of sense. On top of that, he challenges people who claim the guy is just a scammer and uh, an incompetent instructor by talking about how successful his private security firm is in Detroit. And that's where I just couldn't take it anymore. I left a reply saying, yeah, his success with his security firm or whatever is not a metric for the efficacy of his martial arts. It's not. I said, what is that you are doing pressure tested techniques. You're doing things that we know works because they have been tested and shown to work through sparring, through competition, etc. And so Golden Bell Training replied with a backhanded compliment, saying, "Oh, I guess you have it all figured out, huh?" So I'm like, I wasn't going to let that go. I'm not gonna let that go. If I'm not gonna let someone get away with that in a non-martial arts environment, I'm not gonna let them get away with that in a martial arts environment. Because you have too many people who are stupid as fuck in martial arts that say dumb shit. Again, I'm not saying Goldenbell Training is dumb as shit, but what he said was dumb as shit. Like you went to bat for this guy talking about how successful he is, and so you need to follow the money if you think he's just uh, full of crap. He is full of crap. And so I said, yeah. I said, backhanded compliment aside, Shifu. Um, yes, the guy is full of it because we know what makes for efficient martial arts: pressure tested techniques and physical fitness, which he's also lacking in because he's a little fat blob nestled in some little armored vest and tactical gloves. Get the F out of here. Um, and I said, why don't you have the same energy for Dale Brown that you have for Steven Seagal? Because that guy's private security firm has run afoul of quite a few cops in Detroit. I've personally spoken with one online, and again, I know this is hearsay on my part, but it's to counterbalance the stuff that he's saying. So in Kevin Samuels fan group, no, I'm sorry, let me take that back. It was in a Blurred fan group. Blurred stands for Black Nerd. So in a Blurred fan group, I was talking with a guy who's a cop in Detroit, and was talking about how he hates the guy Dale Brown because he does stuff that's questionable, um, legally speaking, like detaining a minor uh, over at some private housing or whatever. And I was like, so I asked the guy, I said, is he allowed to do that? I said, are security firms allowed to do that in Michigan as opposed to in other states? He was like, no, not at all. I'm like, okay. Um, and that's just one of many stories you can hear about Dale Brown's problematic history with his security firm. So not only is he a poor martial artist, his security firm is shaky with what they do. Yeah, they may be successful, but success is not a metric of how efficient your martial arts is, which was my whole point to Goldenbell Training. So I'm not sure why he got his panties in a knicker about it. But and personally, I said I'm offended by the guy because he's black and he makes black professionals look incompetent. He perpetuates that ethnic stereotype of black people being incompetent in their professions because he's a fucking buffoon. So yeah, I don't care. And personally, Golden Belt Training is he teaches Chinese internal martial arts, which I'm always going to keep it real with you guys about martial arts. Chinese internal martial arts is complete bullshit. Like Tai Chi Chuan and all that other stuff, Qi Kung, Bagua, is bullshit. Sorry, it is. It now if you just want to practice it for the aesthetics of the art, or because you're an old man, you just want to be able to work your joints, that's cool. But that's not fool ourselves and think that's like effective martial arts. It's completely not. Internal martial arts is bullshit. How is a it doesn't even make sense internal martial art. So martial arts is supposed to be like combative hand-to-hand techniques from older times. When would it have been beneficial to be moving like that? Like in Tai Chi Chuan. My father, this is an aside here, he's also a practitioner of Tai Chi Chuan from the illustrious Shifu Dennis Brown in the D.C. Area, whom I wanted to train with when I was a kid, but I wanted to do the real stuff, the hard stuff. Um, and now my father goes around calling himself a Shifu because he has a black belt in Tai Chi Chuan. One, since when did you give black belts in Tai Chi? And two, how it's funny him going around calling himself a Shifu. I've never seen him practice. I've seen pictures of him at Dennis Brown's uh, martial arts studio. I've seen, his weapons in the house and, his uniforms and stuff like that. But I've never seen him work out once, much less doing Tai Chi Chuan. So I'm sorry. I don't have much respect for Tai Chi as a martial art. I don't believe it's a fake martial art. It's just not an effective one. So I kind of don't trust people who try to weigh in on the effectiveness of martial arts who practice bullshit martial arts like Tai Chi or Krav Maga and stuff like that. And that applies to Goldenbell training as well. Because again, who is he? He's not really a good judge of what's effective when he doesn't do anything effective himself. Sorry, I had to go there. But again, I don't want you to not check out the guy's channel. I'll leave a link below in the description so you can decide for yourself. Like I said, the content is entertaining. I just wouldn't take it too seriously what he says. Like the stuff he says about Bruce Lee is like hearsay from older masters who obviously were rivals to the man back in the day. So of course they're gonna have maybe a little salty take on Bruce Lee. Not to say that Bruce Lee is perfect. I'm not one of those JKD fanboys who think everything Bruce said was correct and everything he did was good. He was a human being like everyone else. He was flawed, and the martial arts he did was what he could do at the time in the 60s and early 70s. So, there's been progression since, and luckily he built that into his art. John Fanchit Kundo, that it can progress, although there's still going to be an historical basis that you have to learn first before you can learn to further develop those tools through other arts and use the concepts of Jeet Kune Do. But again, Goldenbell Training or whatever his real name is, the Shifu was off, and instead of just saying, maybe you have a point or whatever, like I said, he's defending this guy Dale Brown, who's a complete fucking clown. And like I said, we shouldn't care because it's obviously that Dale Brown is incompetent. My point was that he was defending Dale Brown saying he's actually not incompetent. One, because he has a lot of students that he teaches stuff that he doesn't show on his videos, and two, because the success of his private security firm in Detroit. Those are non sequiturs to the efficacy of what he actually teaches. So that's what I say, and I'm just a contrarian.